محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم الشريف. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So the topic is actually one of the most important topics normally when I have a lecture, because the next generation is actually our main goal in our life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in many verses of the Holy Quran mentions about the importance of recitation, because the first verse which Allah revealed to the Holy Prophet, it is in Surah Al-Alaq, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasizes on Iqra, and He started with imperative verb, and recite and read. Iqra. So that is an instruction for us. Even in Surah Al-Muzzammil, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in verse number 4, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا, and recite the Holy Quran in measured, in order. For the second time in the same surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ. As much as you can, recite the Holy Quran. For the third time, فَقْرَأُوا مَا تَيَسَّرَ مِنْ. Whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses imperative verbs, orders, do we think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs our recitation? Do we think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when it says about fasting, كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needs our fasting? And if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala orders to do this and to don't do this action, is this for our own benefit? Or just Allah need? As Sayyid mentioned, I have ended my recitation with this very famous verse, which normally in any TV interviews I recite this. They will ask me, who is this qawm? Qawmi. Who is this tribe? Whenever we go to the Sunni school, you see the ihtimam, the attention to the Holy Quran is more than us. We have to believe in this. When it comes to our school, to Shia community, unfortunately, I have attended some majalis, which maybe I had 2 or 3 listeners. I mean, they were there. But I didn't care. I said, I'm reciting for a jinnah because you are listening as well. The problem is in our community, alhamdulillah, we are doing our best when it comes to majalis of Ahlul Bayt. When it comes to Muharram, when it comes to the holy month of Ramadan, Layali Qadr, we are doing our best. But during the year, Quran, 9 months or 11 months is just say goodbye. I have witnessed some of majalis, alhamdulillah, here we have to thank the organizers, not because Mustafa Murtada is here and he maybe, we guarantee that next year I'm here or no. But I have witnessed majalis of even Urdu speakers, they don't have recitation of the Holy Quran at the beginning of the program. Recitation of the Holy Quran in our community, unfortunately, is as a filler. Just 2 or 3 minutes recite and that is blessing, tamam. But alhamdulillah, I have witnessed other majalis as well. Like here, we have this opportunity to have this platform to introduce that we Shias, we are not just chest beaters. We are not just mourning for Ahlul Bayt. We are the real meaning of the hadith of Thaqalain. إِنِّي تَارِكٌ فِيكُمُ الثَّقَلَيْنِ كِتَابَ اللَّهِ وَعِتْرَتِي. Let's start asking you a question. I know, alhamdulillah, many of you are parents. How many of you are fluent in the recitation of the Holy Quran? Just raise your hand, please. MashaAllah. So when I mean fluent, you can recite fluently with good tajweed, with adab, pronouncing letters properly. And now another question. How many of you tried to learn the recitation of the Holy Quran? Please raise your hand. That's very good. And now another question. How many of you were successful? Raise your hand. Why the result is low? You have started to learn the recitation of the Holy Quran. But the problem is here. You didn't carry on. Inna ma'al usri yusra. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions always. Of course, there are many difficulties in our life, especially for us. When you are doing anything for the sake of Quran and Ahlul Bayt, it is jihad. Jihad is not just to go now in Palestine or south of Lebanon and fight against Israel. No. I say always jihad is to increase your knowledge. As Imam Ali alayhi salam says, who is or what is your greatest enemy? If I ask you, if we Muslim now, we might say Israel is our greatest enemy. But what about the response of Amir al-Mu'minin? He says, your greatest enemy is your ignorance. Because we don't know. When you don't know, so you're weak. Knowledge is power. A person came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is the point which we have to always focus. If you want your kids, your children to be good reciter, what I should do? How I should connect my kids, my children, especially in the Western society. And everything is free here. When I say free, it's open. The platform of social media, internet, everything is open. Of course, you can restrict it. A person came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. I always mention any hadith of Amir al-Mu'minin for me is as a university. If we follow the Ahlul Bayt, which is Quran Natiq, because we have both together, we want to have both together. We won't be like Sunnis, just relying on Quran, but they have forgotten Ahlul Bayt. And we don't want to be just relying on Ahlul Bayt. Wallahi, I have witnessed majalises. They're killing themselves for Ahlul Bayt when it comes to Quran. They don't know how to read Quran. So each hadith of Amir al-Mu'minin is a university. A person came to Imam Ali alayhi salam. He said, Ya Mawlana, when I should start teaching Quran to my children? So, what do you think? What would be the response? When? When they are 10 years? 5? 4? 12? 18? How many years old? 7. Any more responses? Yeah, mashallah. Imam Ali salam replies 10 years before their birth. So what does it mean? 10 years before their birth. In our society, especially in the Western community, we have 3 types of parents. Number 1, we have parents, they are fluent in the recitation of the Holy Quran, they are proper reciters of the Holy Quran, and the outcome is, mashallah, very good. So the kids, they look at parents and they copy. The first thing that a girl copy is from mom, and a boy copy from dad. So we have the first category are those parents, they are fluent in the recitation of the Holy Quran, and the process of teaching their kids is very easy. Either they start teaching their kids, which is a bit difficult sometimes. I personally, for me, it's difficult to teach my kids. I'm a teacher. I'm teaching many students. I have students even 70 years old. I have students 4 years old. I had students when they actually came to this world, they were learning from me because their mom used to come to my lesson. So that's the first category. Parents, they are fluent in the recitation of the Holy Quran. And the process of teaching is easy. The second category is, always I say, better late than never. Wallahi, I have witnessed many parents, they started learning Quran at the same time with their kids. So the process here is, the result is better. Why? Because you both practice together. But later on I will mention how we should smooth these relations to practice together. So you learn together with your kids. I have witnessed many people come to me, said, Sayyid, we don't have good voice, so I don't learn. It's completely wrong. How is it possible that you say, I don't have good muscles, so I don't go to gym? So you go to gym to work on your muscles, to have actually good arms, to fit yourself. Especially for the matter of vocal cords, it's just like muscles. It's like vocal cords, it's cords, you sort it. It is the matter of voice. But the matter of learning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us brain, mind, tranquility, so we can learn. We learn everything else. But when it comes to Quran, I say, no, I'm old, I cannot learn. No, believe me, when you take one step towards the learning of Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take 10 more steps. Anything, any business you're doing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you do one step towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will do, in some of the verses He mentioned 10 times. In some of the verses He mentions even 700 times. When you give charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it double. Make it 7 times, make it 10 times, make it 700 times to you. Always the business do towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Says, oh Allah, you are my Lord. You have created me. You have given me mind, everything. Help me so I can learn recitation of the Holy Quran with my children. Of course, we'll come to the aspect of why we should learn the recitation of the Holy Quran. Do I need to learn the recitation of the Holy Quran or no? The third category are those people, they haven't learned anything and they don't want to learn, or they are a bit lazy, but the kids, they can learn. They do their best, they invest, but they don't want to, or maybe they don't have time, they don't want to learn. In this case, the process of learning is a bit slow. But of course, we have witnessed families, the parents, they're not good reciters, they're not fluent in the recitation of the Holy Quran, but the students are, mashallah, very good. I have witnessed in our community, in Afghan community. I have a young reciter, mashallah, he is able now to recite in different melodies. He's just 10 years old. The parents, they don't know to read because of the issues they had, problems they had, financial problems. So they don't have that time. But still, if you actually do a contract with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, definitely you will have time for learning the Holy Quran. So these 3 categories, you are here, you see yourself in which category you are. If you are in the 3rd category, yalla, it's not late. We say in English, better late than never. So you can start learning. Why? The Holy Prophet says, اطلب العلم من المهد إلى اللحد. So there is no excuse. The last minute, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, today is your last day, said Jalal, so I have still time to learn something. So we don't have any excuse for the process of learning. Now it comes to how we should learn. Which system we have to use. As I mentioned in the verses of the Holy Quran, which the Holy Prophet complains, we are responsible. We are responsible. Our community, they are responsible. Our ulamas, they are responsible. Believe me, I have witnessed big conventions when either me or another reciter, we were reciting Quran, and unfortunately in the first row or second row where is full of ulamas, mujtahideen, ulamas, all of them, while the recitation of the Holy Quran, talking. So we have to start from very top, high level to sort this in our community. I have witnessed when we had no normal or regular Jews recitation of the Holy Quran, and they came to us, especially on the night of Qadr, they said, I'm so sorry, we have to cancel the recitation of the Holy Quran. Why? Because a scholar came from Najaf, and he has to take that time, and he has to give a lecture. And I said, okay, so what shall I do? This is the night of Qadr, the night of Quran. Okay, he said, you bring the recitation of the Holy Quran before Maghrib, which we don't have any person there at that time. So that was the time when I mentioned we will dedicate this to a jinnah. I said, there is no one at that time. He said, that is the only option. I said, bring the speaker at that time. And he said, there is no one to listen to him. So you agree, you accept that a person comes and give lecture, but you should have many audience, but for the recitation of the Holy Quran you don't need. So we have these challenges in our community. That is the reason we have lack of connection to the Holy Quran. Why? The Sunnis, when you go to their centers, before I mention this, I want to ask you, how many of you memorized the whole Quran or part of the Holy Quran? Just raise your hand, please. The whole Quran? Do we have memorizers the whole Quran? Completely? One juz. Do we have anyone one juz? MashaAllah. 5 juz. 5 ajza. But if you go to the Sunni centers, you say, for example, Hafiz, how many Hafiz? 10, 20 Hafiz they have. It's not the matter of they have Salatul Taraweeh, they will recite Taraweeh, Fulan. No. I'm asking another thing. You know, who are the best reciters in the world? Always Egyptians. Yes? Egyptians, they are the best reciters. Mustafa, Ismail, Abdul Basit, all of us, we used to copy them. Do they came from any other planet? They came from any other planet? No, they are from the same earth. Even they are poorer than us. But the only reason is because in the school of Egyptian method is memorization of the Holy Quran is a high rank. What about in our community? I have established a Darul Quran, it's called Al-Furqan Darul Quran, which we just dedicate on the recitation and memorization. Wallahi, still we don't have a place in London. We don't have a place. But how many Husayniyya, how many centers, how many Imam Bargas we have? That is the reason the Wahhabis, the other sects, they always just point and us says these are mushrik, kafir. We don't have any center for the specifically teaching Quran, memorization, recitation. There are many issues, so it should be sorted. I mention this because I know you sisters and brothers, you are, mashallah, all high levels. Huge respect I personally have to the all communities, but especially to the Lebanese communities. They are, mashallah, open-minded. So it should be sorted. Now, we cannot rely on this if we don't have center. We are in the Western communities. What shall I do? As I mentioned, the best method, of course, some of you have kids, or some of you plan to have kids. Start from now. You have to learn yourself. You have to start learning recitation of the Holy Quran. You know, after this, she has got talent and she has a voice. I have seen many people, they are coming to me. What is qarar? What is jawab? What is jawab? What is maqam bayati? Old women, old men, they're coming when I go, for example, in transit in different countries, especially in Ayyam al-Arba'iniyya. They come to me, what is bayati bayat? Or I don't know, for example, jawab, this stuff. So that's good initiative. They think that we have something in Quran, so we have to learn. We have maqamat, melodies, we have to learn. Another problem usually we have in our community, we don't give platform to our sisters. We don't give platform to our sisters. We don't have, actually, in our female sect reciters, we have either very less or we don't have. Why? Because we didn't have this platform. We didn't give this platform. So the kids, the children, they look at us. Now, in each Pakistani or Indian or Khojas, when you knock the door, there is 1 or 2 or 3 reciter of Manqabat, Marthiyah, all this stuff. But what about Quran? Because we gave platform to the recitation of Nawha, the recitation of Marthiyah. But what about Quran? We didn't give that platform. Children, they copy us. If they don't find good person to copy, so they go and copy other stuff. Like, for example, I don't know, nowadays in YouTube, they have many, I should speed, the stuff, I don't remember names, because I find this name through the kids. So they copy those role models in YouTube, in social media, because we didn't provide the platform for them. How many Quran nights program we have had during the year? But we have many majalis of Ahlul Bayt, Shahada, Wilada, Fulan. We have many. But how many just majlis for the sake of Quran? And we said, we have this majlis. Wallahi, I mentioned in Toronto, I said, anyone memorizes Quran in 2 years, I will provide the cost of Hajj trip. But still, no one came back to me. In 2 years, you memorize the Holy Quran. Even now, I say here, any of you, sisters and brothers, if you want to memorize Quran in 2 years, I personally, Sayyid Jalal Masoomi, will provide the Hajj cost, the package for you, inshallah. But you do this ihtimam, to memorize the Holy Quran. You know, all of us, I personally, I have in my mind just now, where I was waking up in Afghanistan, I was having the beautiful voice of my brother reciting Quran. Or my father was reciting Quran. So you copy that. My main reason to become a reciter was the will of my mother. We had a reciter, a very famous reciter in Afghanistan. He's called Barakatullah Salim. He's alive still. My mother used to say, Jalal, I want you to recite like him. So it was always in my mind, because my mom wants something from me. And I always used to wake up with the voices of my father reciting Quran. Although it was not the actual recitation of the Holy Quran as we recite now. It wasn't maqamat, it wasn't anything. But it was something to wake me up. Do we have those platforms in our families, in our houses? I know, wallahi, we have the best mothers. We have the best mothers. They have the love of Ahlul Bayt, they have the love of Quran, but we have to guide our centers, our initiative like Sirat, all of these, they are responsible to provide this platform. Why Quran in our community is mahjura? Why? What is the reason? Why we don't have memorizers of the Holy Quran? And which time is the best time to start this? When, especially mothers or fathers as well. It's not just father says no because the baby is not in my womb, so I don't care. No. It's direct actual reaction the kids they will get from you. Where you look, what you eat, you have direct reaction to your kids. Mom and dad. Especially in the Western community. Of course, at the end of the session, I will give you time for the QA. So if you have any questions, I will be at your service. But let me tell you something which I have witnessed from the first day I've started with the recitation of the Holy Quran until today. If I complain from our centers, from our community, give me this chance to actually raise this point. Because I see this. I always say I am in fight with big ulamas to actually give some class to the holy book in our community, in Quran, in Quranic sessions. Even in the talent shows, we have issues. We have witnessed in the talent shows, the ihtimam in Quran is not too much. Either the issues of religious issues they have. I had a 4-year-old student of mine, girl, they didn't let her to take part in a competition. Why? Because she's a girl. That is another issue we have in our community, especially for the sisters. It's impossible for me, said Jalal, when I go to the Sunni mosques, to the Sunni centers, the girls are coming, reciting, and I'm listening to them. It is halal for me. But when I come to the Shia mosque, so the girls and the sisters, they cannot recite. There is no specific fatwa about this, that recitation of Quran by women is haram. Why we shouldn't give this platform to them? When the mom is not reciting properly, so how we should expect from a girl, from the daughter, to be a good reciter? We cannot just rely on online listening. Of course, I teach all of my students now online. But it is just 1 hour a week. Or maybe 2 hours a week. What about the other times? What we should do? Do you have any plan? Do you use any reward plans for your children? If you memorize, for example, 1 juz of the Holy Quran, I will buy for you PS5. Did you use this system or no? I will buy, for example, a bike for you, a mobile for you. Have you used this stuff? There are many techniques so we can use to actually bring the love of Quran to the hearts of our children. Believe me, I have witnessed the young boys and girls, when they recite Quran, they are reciting from the bottom of their heart. And that beautiful time is unbelievable to explain. Because Quran penetrates in the heart of mu'mineen. But we have to open the door and we have to welcome the Holy Quran. You know the ihtimam we have to majalis, but we should increase as well the majalis of Quran. I mean Quranic sessions, Quranic nights. So we can listen, we can recite, we can bring some of the national and international reciters to our weekly or monthly or yearly program. So I can motivate my kids. We should actually increase this role model in our society, in our community. Another aspect which I have to mention, which is the pressure of the families. I've seen many families, they use too much pressure on the kids. No, that's not good. Believe me, I personally have two sons. I don't actually use this pressure system to ask them to memorize the Holy Quran completely and blah, blah, blah. No. I leave them. Because I use indirect pressure. What is indirect pressure? I just provide a platform for them and I let them to choose. I let them to choose. He goes and searches YouTube and finds my recitation and he copies. وَعِبَادُ الرَّحْمَنِ. He just does as I was reciting. Either him, my son, or my students. So I give them this chance, they choose. I have witnessed my colleagues, they took, for example, their kids to Iraq. So they took them as a homeschooling. Too much pressure. So I want you to become a reciter, full memorizer of the Holy Quran. And then the students of mine just left everything. So now he hates even recitation. He knows everything. He knows even maqamat, everything. But too much pressure will give you other way around. We should provide a platform. If I do good, definitely my kids, my children will copy me, will see what I am doing. And definitely will see the consequences. But if I don't do goodness, but I'm expecting goodness from my kids, it is impossible. It is impossible. As I have recited the verses of the Holy Quran in Surah Al-Alaq, اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. This اقرأ should be always in our mind. That the recitation should have a time and a place in our families, in our houses. We cover, especially in our culture, we have Quran covered in 2 or 3 covers. Quran doesn't need that. Quran needs to be opened, to be recited. We have to encourage them to learn the melodies, the maqamat. If they learn maqamat Qur'aniyya, they don't go to these types of rap stuff. I don't know, these famous rappers in US, because it's a source of rappers in the world. What's called that, Sayyid?
I'm not in tune with the...
the rappers, okay. So, but
all the rappers, yeah.
Yeah, we should open our platform. We should open the occasion of nasheed and asheed. When they know the melodies, they use those melodies in the right way. If we open the environment for them that there are melodies in the Holy Quran. If we tell them that music, overall we cannot say music is halal or haram. Unfortunately, we are living in a community, they say when it comes to music, oh, music is haram. Music is haram. Who said music is haram? What is music? Because we don't know. We are reciting Quran with melodies. We compose. You know, reciters of the Holy Quran. Why? I always recommend your children to learn first Quran, and after Quran they can do everything. Because Quran reciter is great composer. Reciter of the Holy Quran compose at the same time. So you compose the melody based on the meaning. You recite the verse, you know the meaning, but you compose the melody based off that. A reciter of the Holy Quran can do adhan, can recite dua, ad'iyah, can recite madhiyah, can recite anashid, can recite rawda, or I don't know, any other stuff you can mention. Marthiyah, sus in Pakistani stuff. But if you bring one person who is just reciter of latmiyah, tell him recite Quran, he cannot. But other way around is possible. Why? That is i'jaz of Quran. That's another miracle of the Holy Quran. We have witnessed very famous singers, I tell you this, in Egyptian music. Kulthum, many of you might know this. I mentioned this because she was a reciter. Her father was a reciter of the Holy Quran. But of course, because at that time they didn't give her a platform, so she had to go and sing. There was no platform for the ladies. I have witnessed, I think someone told me here, if I'm not mistaken, in the community, a girl had very beautiful voice. There was not a platform for her, so she went to American Idols to sing. This voice, you can use it for the sake of Quran, for the sake of Ahlul Bayt, for the sake of your country, instead of those rubbish stuff they are using. So we have to provide this platform. I give you this chance. Now, if you have your mobile, your TikTok, Instagram, all the way you go, you have rappers, you have jazz, you have, I don't know, rock system, say it, different styles. In music, there are different styles. But you have to give opportunity. You should have good, for example, opportunity for your kids so he or she can come and copy the right way. We cannot close the doors. It's like coronavirus nowadays. We cannot close the doors. If we close that door, it will come from window. You know this in Quran and as well in Ahlul Bayt, always they mention about Dajjal. This is Dajjal. But we have to use it in proper way. We have to use it in proper way. If we don't open the proper door or window or platform for our kids, definitely others will open the door for them. How many hours they are with us? It's just for sleeping and eating. These times, even some of the families I have witnessed that they are not eating together because of the work stuff, difficulties they have. The majority of time they are outside the house. They are at school with different platforms coming to them. So we have to provide a proper platform for them. Sayyid, just let me know how long I have time for a lecture and then Q&A.
I'll give you another 5 minutes. I'm sure the audience has questions, plenty of questions.
Good. We are responsible for our children, for the next generation. We have brought them in this community, in this country, and we are responsible to provide for them a proper platform. I know many of you ladies and gentlemen, you are providing food, other stuff for your children. But this should be on the priority for you. What can I do to have a very close connection between my children and Quran? Quran should be recited in a family like a turn. Give the opportunity for them to do the, after you eat your food, the recitation of one short surah as well. Let them to recite, let them to actually do the dua of khatmah after food or after any recitation you have. Try to have the tradition. You know, this program is, mashallah, very beautiful. The concept of this program, especially this year, return to tradition. So we should have that tradition we had in Lebanon, in Afghanistan, in Iran, in Pakistan. How we used to sit together, how we used to eat together, and give platform to our next generation. By this, we actually teach them at the same time. By this, actually we have our culture as well. We survive our culture. We give them this platform to learn that what is our origin. Although we are in the Western countries, but we have a sense. We have a region. We have to survive our origin. And Quran is the book of guidance. إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. This is the point. إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم. So you have to start. If I don't start and I say, oh Allah, please guide my son, please guide my daughter, please guide my husband, please guide my wife. No, but you have to start from somewhere. If I don't start, I won't expect anything. Try to start from yourself. That's the best point, as we had from Amir al-Mu'minin Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. Try to start from yourself. Learn. Don't worry. He says, I'm starting to learn recitation of the Holy Quran with proper tajweed, proper waqf and ibtida, proper melodies and proper voice. I'm working on my voice. I want to recite. I'm not less than Abdul Basit. I'm not less than Mustafa Ismail. I'm better than him. Of course, because you have many opportunities. Inshallah, I want to give more time to you. If you have any concerns, any questions, I will be at your service. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allah salli ala Muhammad.